Well, hello everybody. This is me. I'm back for the first time in at least a week, a month, 2 months, 6 months. I don't know. It's a long, 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 long time. But I'm just going to take you through my holiday and what I've been up to and various other things. I went for a holiday in Wellington and Tauranga over the holiday periods, Christmas and New Year, and various other things. And I just haven't been on here for so long. I need to talk. I've forgotten how to talk. So let's get on with the show. This is going to be a slideshow, heaps of photos and a few videos. There's even harness racing in here as well, believe it or not. So let's have a look to see what we've got. And we're going to start with a cat. There we go with a cat. Whoops. Oh, cat. Cat. Hold on, I'm just going to put that back there. That cat is watching Mad Men. If you haven't seen it, and I never saw Mad Men when it came out the first time, it's absolutely fantastic. And I think I missed the last um, one, maybe two seasons. Absolutely tragic. They took it off of Netflix, but this is random stuff as you're going to see, or you've already seen. A little bit of background music as well. So I've seen various things, including this. Don't be a keep. Live, laugh, live. Now this here, this I thought was really funny. Is that I started up a networking group, and in the networking group, there were some real estate agents and property managers. And I just happened to be doing a house call for my antique business. And I came across this marketed by Harcourts for sale. And you think, is this not the ultimate doer-upper? This is in Hardon or Harwoodin, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And I just thought this was an absolute crack up. Like, how did it get in that state? Like they ran out of money. What happened there? I have no idea. But they put the fences up, which would make it a little bit awkward to get into the property. Sorry, I got an itchy eye. But yeah, just thought that was funny. Now this here, I got asked if I wanted to do an interview. And I wasn't too sure what it was about. I thought it had something to do with my speakers group or maybe my networking. As it turns out, somebody was interested in my speech, my stutter, and they got me in there kind of under false pretenses, but it was okay. It was a great experience, and I really enjoyed it. But this here is the Christchurch Library, the new one that's gone up after the earthquake, and got a lovely mural on the outside of it. And we just walk in here and you'll get to see the inside in a minute very briefly. That's the stairs, and it's all kind of open. If you want to commit hiri-kiri, then you can jump off the edge there if you like. I walked up there rather than taking the elevator. I want to get fit. I was feeling motivated on this particular day. It's a lovely design, and that's the person, that's Crystal, that's the one who interviewed me, and that was fantastic. Now, one of my friends a few months ago was looking at homes, and this is me going for a walk up the hill, and I saw an open home which you're about to see. But that's looking out over Christchurch, which is in New Zealand's South Island. And I think the slides got out of order here. This here is the Groynes, spelt Groynes, and that's where I go quite often. Well, as often as I can. We've had a terrible summer, but when it's all dry and it's great weather, I go there in the van, put a gazebo up, intending to get work done. I actually fall asleep usually, but I get out of the house and I really, really enjoy it. So that's the Groynes there, and when I went there last time, I found this massive solar farm, and that's me just doing a shot for a meme I created or a little post on LinkedIn about how I overthink things and need to stop thinking, start doing, take action, less planning. Planning's fine, but you can't overdo it. And this here, as I say, these are random things. When is it Drive to Survive, the Formula One documentary? I'm not too sure. Really got me, I wouldn't say hooked on Formula One, but really fascinated and interested in Formula One. And this here was a little shot that I saw from one of the pit crew on one of the teams who had obviously been inspired over the years by Ayrton Senna, the late Ayrton Senna. That's quite tragic. Great documentary online about Ayrton Senna as well, because he had quite a bad rap. Alain Prost used to be my favourite, but after watching the documentary, I think maybe I was rooting for the wrong horse there, as they say. But never mind, everyone's got their own personality. So that's Ayrton Senna tattooed onto somebody's forearm, and I just thought, yeah, great sign of respect. This here I thought was quite funny, and I don't know if you can zoom in on this. And I'm going to have to enlarge this photo so I can actually see it myself. But in here, it's got made in Australia, just there. Don't know if that comes up on the screen. Made in Australia from less than 10% Australian ingredients. What does that even mean? Like, why would you do that? What's the point? Here's my cat, and these are treats, and cat had stolen this down and managed to get it open. Check this out. This is no silly cat. Plays around with it. Temptations they are, that's right. Not too sure what they're called. Manages to knock around and ta-da! Yummo! He's into it. She's into it. This here was just before Christmas. That's one of my friends, and that's a kind of a Christmas decoration tree out the front of his house. It was pretty cool. It was really small. He got awarded that for community service, and it's grown to now it's quite a lovely thing at the front of his garden on the road. Now this is a little what would you call it, caravan or mobile shop that has turned up from nowhere, sip and dip, and the people that come from wherever to come to this place, I have not seen any advertising for it. That is actually located over here on the left hand side. Is actually a service station, so that's just parked up at a service station. People seem to have found it. It's a great example of marketing and knowing where your customer's coming from. I have no idea where they're coming from, but they obviously found them and managed to get them there. And you see there's naughty shake, sip and dip, top picks, loaded desserts, whole manner of things. I haven't had one. I'm on a diet to cut down my sugar, but they aren't. This here is my networking group. That's a few people there. There's a few more people there, and afterwards we sometimes meet for a coffee, and that's a rather spontaneous pick there. That is not networking, that's badminton, and someone decided that I'd look great with a funny hat on. Probably better than how I look without funny hat on. This here I thought was cool. Now, one of my friends thinks that that's cloud seeding. I think it's just a chemtrail. But I'd never seen one where there's a shadow being formed by the chemtrail on the cloud. I thought that was pretty cool. As I say, pretty random. And this one here, you can actually see the rainbow effect at the on the right hand side there. I'd actually never seen that in a cloud either. So that's interesting. You can make of that what you like. Thought this was pretty cool. We only live once, says Snoopy. Wrong. We only die once. We live every day. If you choose to live every day, I'm choosing to get out more than I can. Here's my daughter. This was a photo in Wellington that she didn't want taken, and that is the beehive, which is where the MPs are in Wellington. That was a pretty cool bug that I saw in Wellington. This is some of the road art, sculpture art. That's another piece there. That's actually a piece of art into the concrete. Now this one here, Wellington had some earthquakes, and of course Christchurch had earthquakes quite a few years ago now. And an interesting thing with earthquakes is that you can't always see cracks on buildings or anything like that. But if you have had an earthquake and you see broken windows high up, that usually means there's something, what is it? There's columns and columns and I can't remember what you call the other thing now. But if you see a broken window, there's a pretty good chance that either a column or a support, whatever those words are, has broken. And and that's why the glass broke. So that's in Wellington. Don't know if that building is open or not. We just took some more random photos. There's some more art. And I took a photo of that piece of art at the back, and those two people in front thought I was taking a photo with them. We ended up having a quite fun conversation about that. People in Wellington are friendly. That's where I'm from originally. This is going out towards the terrace. I just thought that was a nice shot. And here's some more art. Actually reminds me of Day of the Triffids. I don't know if anybody's seen that. Used to freak me out as a kid when I saw it. Well, did freak me out as a kid when I saw that growing up. Probably haven't recovered. This here, I don't know how those cars got up there, because that's not part of the road. That's just on top of the building. And I think they're AA insurance or something like that. And I thought, yeah, interesting. I don't even know how many people would actually notice they're there, but they are there, obviously. Mecca. Why go to Saudi Arabia when you can go to Wellington and find it? And there's all the pigeons. I thought that was a nice arty shot. Don't you think so? Just something on my screen here. I'll just shut there. I thought there was a nice arty shot. Good proportions and everything. This here is one of the arcades in Wellington. There's several arcades in Wellington if you hunt around to find them. My daughter thought this was rather upmarket, and she felt uncomfortable walking through, which is quite fascinating. But we're uncomfortable with everything until we get comfortable to it. There was a saying I heard the other day. Will I remember what this was? And there's something I heard tonight. I went and saw the interview of Tony Robinson, who used to be Baldrick on Blackadder. He said something as well. What was that? It was just saying that you're never comfortable until you are. Something basic like that. This is another sculpture of a weird head. Now here, we're talking about earthquakes before. You'll see all those things that are on the angles. Those are, for lack of a better word, shock absorbers. So they what are they called? Dampeners or something like that? I'm not too sure what the word. But every time you see that in a building, it means that it's been treated, earthquake proofed, something like that. It was probably an earthquake proof from new, I would say. Oh, this here was a busker. I thought that was pretty cool. Isn't that a lovely artistic shot as well? I like stuff like that. Aesthetically pleasing. Here's my aesthetically pleasing daughter who's a connoisseur of sushi. She asked me the other day if she can go to Japan. I don't know how long, but we're going to find out the details. But here she is having sushi, and you actually choose the individual pieces of sushi. It's not cheap. But there's things like eel, normal stuff like salmon, teriyaki, chicken, things like that. She got weird stuff. Ugh. This here, I thought it was a lovely shot of the marina. That's around Oriental Parade in Wellington. And this here is another sculpture over the harbour, and looking over the harbour you can see this one. That I have no idea what this is, but it reminds me of something out of like Star Wars or something. Here's a lady. I just thought, I love taking photos of people taking photos. And I just like the aesthetics of this as well. She was right into it, didn't even know I was there. Oh, there is one of the police launches coming in, and here's another sculpture. Sculptures everywhere in Wellington, which is the capital. And this is a lovely old building. I don't know what that was, maybe one of the wallboards, and that's Gandhi outside the Wellington railway station. And this is on the train. Ride like your auntie is watching. Who comes up with this stuff? Bike storage area. Now this here, is one of those funny things. So I was staying in the Hutt Valley, and I was raised by my grandparents. My grandmother used to fall out with all of the neighbours all the time, or find fault with the house And Hutt Valley's quite a damp place, so I can't remember being in damp houses, but she obviously thought they were damp, or she didn't like the neighbours, or didn't like something. So we're moving all the time. So I went round one day and I thought, oh, let's take a photo of all the places that I can remember that I lived in. And this here is where I had a girlfriend when I was about 5. That's in Stokes Valley. That's in Rintole Grove. And just had driving around, had one of those thoughts. I would have been, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 6. I don't know. So I took a photo of that just for the hell of it, really. That is where I lived, in Rintole Grove, that house on the left. And this here, random out of shot, that's a Rolls Royce, the RR. About 3 people out for a drive. This is the Weta Workshops, Peter Jackson. This is one of the things that he's created, and those are outside, so anybody can see those. He's obviously inside. Is it Legolas? I don't... Legolas. Legless. I don't know. Whoever that is, that's his mini sculpture or whatever in the Weta Workshop shop. And that, I don't know what any of these characters are, but just took photos of random things that were in the shop. And everybody knows who that is, of course. That could be outside, I think. And this guy, I took a photo of this. He and the girl serving obviously know each other. They're having a conversation and had something to do with, would you serve me faster if I was younger or something? So he did that. I thought that was quite funny. This is outside. Yeah, Weta Workshops open for business. They're not cheap. Now this here is in the middle of the North Island. This is driving along what they call the Desert Road, which is basically pretty much right in the middle of the North Island, heading toward Lake Taupo if you're going up. And there's 3 mountains. One of them's Tongariro. One of them is Ruapeu, I think. And I can't think what the other one is. Could be Narrawahui. And I think at least, maybe all of them are still active. I'm not too sure. And this is the military museum. We got a very small military, but what we have got, this is at Waiuru at the start of the Desert Road. And that's, I don't know which one that was, but that'd be one of the 3. This is just on the Desert Road again. Slow when wet. Don't know why I took a photo of that. That's Lake Taupo. That's the start of Lake Taupo, which is a big lake. Now we're in Tauranga, and that's a bird. I don't know whether these things are native to Tauranga or this is an escaped pet or whatever, but I took 3 photos of this hiding there. There's another one there. Aren't they cute? I only saw them once. That's my dad. He's got Parkinson's, so he's doing exercises every day.
Well, I won't say that on video. Because,
yeah,
well,
there he is, cracks me up, but he's putting in the hard yards. Good on him. This here is Tauranga Racecourse, and this here, there was something on the back, Easy Tiger, and I think, probably can't see it, but it's got something, something like if you're that close to my ass, at least pull my hair, or something like that on that sign. This is a pretty cool old car that was in one of the shopping malls, and that's me. There's my dad's back lawn, big back lawn, and that's my brother's outlook from his place in Welcome Bay in Tauranga. We went out there for Christmas morning, I think it was, and that's the outlook over the harbour. That's me looking like an idiot. That's my daughter who's been playing with the eels, still wearing her pyjamas. Now, I went for a walk along Papamoa, I think it's Papamoa, or Mount Maunganui, which we'll get to later. And there's some lovely houses along here. So, and I was going to create a video just of the Mount Maunganui, Papamoa area, but I didn't. But this is it. All right, so this is it. So that's one of the houses I took a photo of. And here's some shots. Bit overcast, but very warm. Don't know what those people were doing up there. But a lot of surfers go out there. And these things, don't know what they're called, but they look a lot of fun. You probably have to ride it for 10 years to get that good. Here's a little arty shot that I decided to do just to see what it would look like on camera. I love playing around with shots. Now that's another guy. I think that's a different guy. I was wondering how many surfers get chopped in half. There's people, there's that cycle way, walkway goes all the way along. It's absolutely fantastic. And here's a V-dub. What do you call these? Combo? Zoomed in there on the Rego. It's a 1961. This here is a funny story. I went for a drive and we were going to Te Puke, which is out of Tauranga, and there's a berry farm. Someone wanted to go into the berry farm. We drove straight into it. We couldn't work out how it worked. And then we realised it was shut. And the owner was waiting at the gate, wondering what the hell we were doing. But we came back when it was open. And this is one of the attractions. Got quite a few attractions and pick your own as well. Although they're pretty decimated by the time we got there. Black Stump Berries, that's what it's called. This is back at my father's house. That's having a look at his house from the other end. It's someone trying to hide under a tree. That's from up the hill a little bit. It's got quite a bit of property. Now that there is Mount Maunganui in the background, and quite a tragic thing happened about maybe 1 or 2 weeks after we left. There was a slip, and there is a holiday park camping ground at the base of that, and some of the hillside came down and took out some, I think, toilets, and slid through the hot pools that they got on the back, and 6 people died. So, and I think at the moment it's all shut, it's off limits, and they're going to debate whether or not they open it. Pretty miserable day on this particular day. So miserable, in fact, that one of the trees fell down on my dad's drive, and that's him. You wouldn't believe this, but I bought some ice cream. He finished it all. Like, there would have been, out of a 2-litre container, 1.5 litres left. He ate it all in one night. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's trying out my headphones there as well. His hearing's not flash, and I gave him those, and he absolutely loved them. Might even buy him a pair. That's a little bird that I took a photo of in the backyard. These are just random shots. Really like how when you zoom in on, that's taken with the iPhone 17, how smooth it is. It almost seems to slow down. And this is at, where is that at? Could be Hunterville. I'm not too sure if this is Hunterville, but there's a sheep. There's a sheep in the middle. So Rob Woolley got a photo with a sheep. 2 photos with a sheep. There you go. Now this here is back in the Hutt Valley, and that is well, I'm not too sure what it is, but I think it's a temple of some sort, which is a nai-nai. And it actually looks like it's made out of plastic. Obviously wouldn't be, but I'm not too sure what it is actually made out of. That's a bird. I don't know why I left that one in there.
Yeah, but
it'll be gone in a minute. That's my mother talking in the background. It's a day in Wellington and Lehur. I know, shoot me. I got to walk mine, but I had to take a photo of that. Just thought there was a fascinating name. Don't know where it came. Now we're back to all the houses that I lived in. Now, I'm actually not too sure whether I lived in this one or my mother. So, yeah, I need to ask her. Anyway, so that's that one. This is a school I went to. This is Dino Primary, and I just remembered that now this is on Treadwell Street again. I think I lived in the house on the corner. There's actually two houses there, that big one. And I think I lived on the right side. I think. Looked a bit different. Lived here with a girlfriend ages ago. Lived there with my grandparents. That's actually my friend's house along the street. Now that stream there, we used to ride choppers, and we used to go and that stream that's got a concrete bottom to it. Can't remember how deep it is, maybe about 6 inches. I used to ride through there. Used to not do great things for the bike wheels and the bearings and such, but it was great fun. This here is another place that I lived in, and there's a park across the road. Now, if you have a look in the background, now I'm not too sure if that's the house that I lived in to the right there or the one next to the house I lived in, but this one in front, the main house that you're looking at, was my grandmother's brother, and he actually died on that footpath mowing the lawns one day. Many, many moons ago. We lived in the house on the right, on the left. We lived straight ahead there where that silver car is as well. We lived there, but it's been pulled down. That was maybe one of the first houses, but I thought we lived in there as well. So this is fascinating, because that could have been my friend's house, and maybe in my head, because I was very young, maybe I thought that was mine, but maybe I went into my friend's house quite a few times. That's weird. You'd think you would remember that. That one where the you can see the back of the white car lived in there as well, and that bit on the left has been extended out because it never used to be like that. That bit on the right used to be the very front of the house, extending out from the rest of it from memory. Here's another place that we lived on, Tyder Drive. Just mind-boggling. Now one of the people that we knew from the Maguire program has these elves, and they have all these messages leading up to Christmas, and I ran into one. I'd never seen one on a shop before. Have now. This here, Will's be his dad, thought I might buy it for myself. That is having a look over Wellington Harbour, and that's the ferry going out, not too sure which one. Went out there just to have a drive and maybe to eat lunch. And there's some interesting architecture up there. That's out the other way. You can see for miles, all the way around, like 360 degrees, panoramic view. And that's the ferry heading, going all the way around the heads and out. That's Oriental Beret. And this here, I'm not too sure what happened here. This house here is obviously being deserted. It could be earthquake damage, or something's happened, because it's kind of precariously placed over the edge of a hill, as you'll see. And you'll see that that's kind of fallen away on one side. We need to know what's happened there, because they have had earthquakes in the last few years in Wellington, but I wouldn't have thought they had too many major ones, and that looks like that's been there quite a long time. This is the ferry that I went over on, and that's driving onto it. That was Connemara, which actually broke down before and after we went over on it, so we're pretty lucky. This is me complaining about a letter I got from Health New Zealand and ending up on the front page of our local newspaper. And there was a follow-up story as well the next day, and that is it after the Minister of Health rang me up. This here is in Sumner. Great shots around there. Is that the inlet? I think that's the inlet, and that's the outlet. So that's the ocean out there, and of course I think you could just about walk across there, but there could be a rip. So obviously I haven't done it, but I don't know whether you can or not. It looks like you could. Might try it one day. Might find out whether it's safe to try it first. As you can see, not too far away, maybe about 150 metres. That, I think, was shag rock, and that kind of fell to bits after the earthquake. And along there was a slip about a week after I went down there, and that road got closed, or at least narrowed to one lane. So all the way along there was a lot of slips after the big earthquakes here in 2010, 2011. And it's been all secured or made safe. But yeah, there was a slip, not massive, but enough to close the road, and they didn't take any precautions. There used to be houses along the top there that actually, well, I think there were, that fell off, partly fell off after the earthquake when a lot of this land gave way. So this is more photos from there, and some more. There's good beach along there. That's me. So I've been experimenting with my studio, and you'll see that I've got similar lighting to that today. I kind of like the contrast on me. This here is Ravensdown fertilizer, which emits bloody odour a lot of the time, although I haven't smelled it since I've been back from a holiday, except maybe for this time. And that was blowing straight into a supermarket, so I took a photo of it. Now, one of the things that I thought about doing was going around Christchurch, which is a reasonably old city for New Zealand, and there's a lot of really big houses, but this one here is a really big house in the middle of a industrial area, and look how big it is. Like, what was that? So one of the things I wouldn't mind doing is actually riding along, maybe on a bike with my camera, and just recording where all those houses are, or anything unusual in Christchurch, and doing a little bit of research and creating some videos with it. We will see how we go. I have many ideas. I don't always follow through. That's overlooking the sea over Christchurch. Now, I went to the races, and the rest of these clips are going to be me at the races. That's my white van there. And this is the racecourse at Rangiora. Took a little bit of the videos here. Hopefully some artistic shots. Haven't seen these much till now. See how good my videography is or is not. Lovely mural there on the members grandstand, and that's the home straight. That's the home straight for Rangiora Harness Racing Club. And this is over the back. Horses. Not too sure whether these ones out the back are harness racing or gallopers, but they're obviously trained on the track. Took a shot of this because you can see all the hoof prints, and I used to be a horse trainer years ago, and it's quite fascinating what things you forget and what just brings back the memory, like hoof prints. That there, I think, is the steward's stand. They climb all the way up there and they watch the races. This is just as they come out of the home straight. So this horse was staring at me saying, "What are you doing over here?" I'm trying to eat in peace. All horses must walk past this point, as opposed to what? I guess they might jog. And some of the horses have just started arriving in, and they're in the cross ties or tie-ups, whatever it is that you want to call them, depending on what school you went to. White baked sandwiches, not my cup of tea, but it is for someone. Planes flying above. Just practicing to see how much you can zoom in on my iPhone 17, which has got its pros and cons. That's one of the horses actually warming up, and you'll get to see and these here are the proper race horses, going around before they get in behind the mobile. That there is maybe 300 or 400 meters away, and I'm located in the grandstand. So that's zoomed in. Obviously a digital zoom as well, because the lens isn't that strong, but I was quite impressed that you could actually get reasonable shots.
And this is
the race team for home.
Just needs to run on the inside. Nos over kicks. Waikaka got through. Stormy Vista runs on. Ladra
I used to drive some of those years ago. Not a lot, or more in work. Not too many in the races, but some. And I think this is coming to the end. This is Littleton, so that's the Littleton Harbour, which is across from the hill that we were on before. Some old houses over here. That's up the hill. There's a cemetery right in front of you out there. Another old house, uphill, down dale. That's the time ball that you can see on the left of the screen, and this is the market. Lots of food and prints. I thought this was fascinating. Fundraiser for entrepreneurial and leadership camp. But none of the kids are there to raise money. They've sent Nana. And you see that Littleton's a big port. And this, we went for a drive around the bays, and this is a couple who have, I think, have got married and getting the photos taken. And just to end, because these are the last shots, in the auction, I go around all the auctions looking for stock, but one of the things that's turning up for weeks and weeks and weeks now is, and probably someone died, who must have got all of this gear, woodworking stuff, and restored it all. And there's hundreds of pieces, because this stuff's been turning up for weeks and weeks and weeks, so who knows where it came from, and who knows actually where the person got it from in the first place. But you do see this, not to this extent, but you see people that have been big collectors over the years that pass away, and it can sometimes be china, it can sometimes be old clocks, various things. Sometimes they have specialist auctions, or sometimes there just seems a humongous amount of this. Wood planes, anything to do with woodworking. Just so much of it. Unbelievable. And that, I think, is it. You know, I don't know why it's still playing like that. So that's it. So, don't know if you endured all of that, but that's me warming up, getting my voice going. I've got some speech contests at the weekend that I'm trying to get ready for. Haven't written a speech. Again, this is ridiculous. I just have a mental block, but I've got 2 days to go to write one humorous speech and one international speech for 2 Toastmaster contests, and we'll see how we go. But sometimes it's just a case of turning up and telling a damn good story, and having an opening and body and a close, and obviously with a humorous speech, being humorous would help. Anyway, thanks for listening, and until next time, bye for now. And we'll see if I can end this smoothly, because I haven't done this for a long time. So, bye-bye.